Hello, hello. The boys and I, and a friend of mine, are going up Mount Olympus tomorrow, there's probably more than one. I can't say that I checked, but I feel like there's one in Washington at the very least. But we're going to the one outside of Salt Lake, on the east side of Salt Lake. It is about 8 miles round trip. I've seen like 7 point something. I was reading a post and she tracked it at 8.1, so somewhere around 8 miles. I thought it would be fun to go into what I'm putting in a pack and just kind of talk about what we're going to be doing. So I am spoiled and I generally trail run hike. So I am doing any kind of distance, but usually I'm just in a running vest and it carries 1.6 liters of water. So I'm not generally going a longer distance than I feel comfortable with that amount of water. That can vary for me depending on the time of year, the time of day, the temperature, those types of things. So there's not a set distance. It really just kind of depends on a lot of different things. It can also depend on how much water is on the trail. Push comes to shove and I needed to fill my water in a stream in the mountains, I have no problem doing that. I am not going to not have water. I'm just not. It also varies because I have to account for the boys drinking water. Generally speaking, so one of the ways I'm spoiled is, generally speaking, in Colorado, you are on trails that have water. I am. So I don't have to worry about the boys. They will get enough water when they're drinking. I happen to run the same trails quite often, so I know where the water is. They know where the water is. It just kind of gives you a peace of mind. Here in Utah, it is totally different. It is definitely in the desert. Some of the mountain trails that we have been on have water and it's wonderful. We happen to do falls a lot because I don't have to worry about it. There's going to be water, whether that be when we get to the spot or along the way. Like, I know there's going to be water. But tomorrow's trail, so we're going up Mount Olympus, like I said, is bone dry, is my understanding. Jason actually did it last summer when we first moved here, and he went by himself. He didn't take the boys, didn't know what the conditions were, and if it would be safe for them, because you read a lot online about like really steep stuff, and it's like 4 points of contact. We just didn't know. He said it was fine. I don't remember how long it took him, though. I should see if he can find that. So I had the bright idea this week that I was just going to go do it. And, once I get an idea in my head, we just kind of roll with it. So I was talking to my friend Becca, and she was asking if I wanted to go for a hike. And I said, "Oh, I think I'm doing Olympus this weekend. You want to go?" She looked it up and she's like, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "There's rattlesnakes. I'm a little cautious of the rattlesnakes. I am a little unnerved about that, but we'll see how that goes." I have no personal issue literally turning around if I don't feel safe. So I'm not concerned for my personal safety, but I mean, maybe a little bit with rattlesnakes. They're like the only venomous snake here in Utah. But definitely with the boys. So Jason and I talked about it. He told me where I need to make sure to have them on leash. They're off-leash trail dogs. They've always been off-leash trail dogs. But there'll be a section of the trail where the rattlesnakes are known to be. And I will put them on leash because I don't want them chasing a rattlesnake. And then I'm trying to run out a steep trail with a dog on my back to get urgent care. Like, it's not going to be good. So if I like get freaked out, I will turn around. It just is. So I'm a little nervous about that. The other thing I'm nervous about is the water. So like I said, normally I just hike with, or I run with a run and hike with a running vest. If I'm doing something longer, generally Jason is there and I just have a running vest. He will carry enough water for the boys to have water, him to have water, and for me to have extra water if I run out. So amazing. I'm so spoiled. I don't even have a backpack here in Utah. It is still in Colorado because I haven't used it in years. I've literally changed to a running vest. Let me grab that. So it's definitely like small, compact. It can fit a lot, but you're not carrying a whole lot of water with it. So, and I actually have spikes and gloves in here right now, but this is my running vest. You've definitely seen me, got my poop bags, chapstick. So small, light. It's the bladder that fits in here that I get in here is 1.6 liters. I think the one that came with this particular vest is maybe just a liter. So the bladder that I have for it is a little big, but it works. So this is what I normally run with. I can strap on like a jacket or coat, or if I start with that, I can strap it on here to the back. So wonderful. Love that vest. I have a smaller one and I don't wear it very often just because I tend to have too much stuff because I'm a fat kid and I need snacks and my water, and I like gloves because I have the Raynaud's and my hands get cold. So I generally start with gloves and it's usually 2 or 3 miles in before they are not numb anymore because the cold like zaps them fast. So I like to have space for all that stuff. So running vest, great. What do you do when you need to carry more water? Because I'm looking at carrying over a gallon of water for tomorrow's hike. And again, this is because I don't know how long it's going to take. Exactly. It is steep. All Trails has it red all the way up. So that'll be fun. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take. There's no water on the trail. There is snow from what I've read. The boys can cool off in the snow, but I need to be able to provide them water. So I've got my 1.6 liter bladder filled up already. Here's my hose. It's already in the pack. So I have got 3 bottles, 1 liter each of water that I filled up that I'm going to put in the pack. I have a water bowl for my kids. So Rembrandt will take water from the hose. So this is the hose for my bladder, and I can squeeze it and shoot it at him, and he will just open his mouth and drink the water. If you squeeze that thing at Bogart, if you even like, do you want a drink, and hold it out, he will turn his nose. He is not like that shit. So I have to have a bowl for Bogart. Otherwise, he's not going to drink. And he's a stubborn asshole. So we've got water. We've got a bowl. I will fill 2 more bottles. So 1 for the car for the boys, like before and after. That way they can take a drink. I can try to get them to drink. You know, it's hard to explain to them you need to drink now because you're not going to have any water for a while. But 1 for them, or some for them to drink when we get there before we start. And then when we get back, just to have a bottle of water for them. And then I'll also have an extra bottle for myself. Again, I'll be drinking on the way there, but it's just in my head. I actually ran out of water once on a trail race. And it was my own fault. I didn't pay attention and refill my bladder. And they had tons of stations. And I was feeling good and I was running. I didn't stop at the aid station. I didn't even pay attention to how much water I had. And then we had like 3 miles left. And we're like a mile outside the aid station. And I ran out of water. Not that I can't go 3 miles without water. But like in my brain, I started freaking out. Because like you need water and I need water and I'm sweating because I sweat a lot and all this stuff. So that my brain freaks out and then it becomes a whole nother issue. So I try to carry enough water, try to have extra water in the car. That is like I said, my biggest concern. The boys with the rattlesnakes, but we are preemptively working on that with leashes, and then having enough water. I just don't like carrying that much water. I'm going to be carrying a gallon of water. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's not that heavy, but it's kind of heavy. So I digress. So in Jason's, I'm using Jason's pack because he had it here for his day pack. And I emptied everything out because I don't need his stuff. So he does have a medical kit. That is very smart. You should always take that. So let's actually turn this. And like I said, I've got my water in here. You can't really see that. I got a bladder here. So we're going to put 3 more bottles. So that gives me a gallon and 0.6 liters. So 1 gallon and half a liter about. I do have to remember, I have a tendency to get like squeeze this. I don't know, like I'll set it down and it'll freaking leak everywhere. So I'm trying to watch that. We have a medical kit, which is good. Not that I can really render aid to somebody else, but if I have it and something's bleeding, I could do something. He's got hockey tape in here. You know, he's Mr. Safety. We've got some sunscreen, and I'm leaving this little stuff that he keeps in here. Hockey tape, which sounds a little bit weird, but you could do a lot of stuff with this. He's got a utility pocket knife. They can't even open. He is Mr. Safety here. So we're just going to leave that stuff in here. And he's got batteries. I don't really need those because I'm not having anything that has batteries, but I'll leave them in his pack. We've got the water bowl. So I just snap that on the outside of my pack because when it gets wet, I don't like it being all wet in the pack. So we will clip that here to the outside. That is good to go. I've got snacks because again, we come back down to Fat Kid. Got trail mix, nuts. We've got some bars, some more bars, some more bars. I'm probably not going to take quite all of this. Maybe. I will make peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, I might be out of jelly, but I can run to the store or just make a peanut butter sandwich. I've got an apple. I've got a couple apples, so I'll take one of those. I do have bananas, so I can make a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I've got some, I'm probably not going to take chips, but I've got these like croissant crackers that I get at Harmon's. It's like sliced croissants that they butter and bake. So it's like croutons. They call them croutinis or something. I don't know. They're delicious. So I might take that. I might take some veggies. I like to take carrots on the trail. Gives you crunch, substance, something good. So we'll see. We'll see what I decide. Always, for me, always have gloves. Again, I have hand issues where my hands and feet go numb if they get cold at all. I read a lot, and a lot of people said hiking poles, mostly for the way down because it's steep. I actually don't enjoy hiking poles. I've never used them enough, even trail running, to like get a good cadence with it, like get that rhythm. But I can easily strap them on to this pack. I'll have to mess with it a little bit, but so this is the outside of the pack, and there's some different spots. I think right here, I will strap them on probably for the way up and then have them if I want them on the way down. These are, what are they? I don't even know. Oh, black diamond collapsible. I do like the collapsible part, so I don't have the whole thing, but adjustable, collapsible, easy, or super light. So that is what I will take. I will also take a hat in case it gets hot or like super sunny in my eyes. I will have a headlamp. So currently I've got batteries charging. So my headlamp, because we are, of course, starting at night. We're planning on leaving my house about 4:30ish, which should get us to and ready to be hiking by 5 a.m. Sunrise is about 7:20 right now. Ideally, we'll make the 4 miles in the 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I feel like generally that's pretty reasonable. But it's steep and people are like, oh my God, this is so horrible. It's all about what you're used to. So I don't really know. The other thing that we will have is the boys' lights. So I've got them in line to charge next. Everything should be charged mostly. I just like to make sure, since we're going to be outside for a couple hours in the night, that all the lights are charged. That is why Jason keeps batteries. So I have a rechargeable battery in my headlamp, but it also takes regular batteries if like that battery runs out. So that is why we keep those. Oh, we've got the most important part, baby wipes. Because you know, if you're going to be on the trail, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. Like it's just part of life. So got that. That's about all I will take. I might put a little bit different food in there. And I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to wear. I need to check the weather again. I think it's going to be 45 when we start, which is kind of on the cusp. I'll be cold right at first, but if I put my gloves on, I'll warm up pretty quick going uphill. So I am thinking like a tank top. It's going to be warm by the time we get to the top. Like maybe I'll be a little chilly, but once I'm moving, I should be fine. I will carry a jacket. I will have a plan to have a long sleeve summer shirt, maybe a winter shirt, long sleeve winter shirt over my tank top. That will help keep me warm at first. On the way down, probably not going to need much of anything. Once the sun comes up, it should warm up pretty quick, I hope. I don't know. We're going to see. It will be an adventure. Yeah. So we'll see how all of that goes down. I feel like that's everything. Obviously, I'll have my phone, chapstick. Those are just little like things that I just keep around, like poop bags, and I don't know. I just keep that stuff in my bag. So I don't really think about packing those items because they're already always there. So yeah, like I said, a little nervous just because I've never been here. The rattlesnakes, feel like I'm over prepared with water, but that's better than being under prepared for water. So my only other concern is CrossFit this morning. We did a whole lot of deadlifts and none of it was at heavy weight, but by the time you did 60 of them, it was a lot of weight. The last 10 we did for the women was at 225 and the men was 315 only for the last 10. 225 is pretty manageable for me, but after you've already done 9 minutes of deadlifts and jump rope, like it was a lot. So my legs are tired. I'm a little tired. I'll go to bed early tonight and we'll get up and get moving in the morning. We'll see how it goes.